Today we will look at a first public screening of episode of Kisah Bawah Tanah, which is to me a groundbreaking animation series by Spaceboys Studios. So what's interesting about their work is that they weave Malaysian and Southeast Asian horror stories and mythologies into an authentic, urban, and planetary aesthetic, creating a captivating hantuverse, which is a concept that is very interesting and we can talk about it later. So following the screening, creators Arzuan, ALET, and Hendra will discuss together with me and the whole and all the attendants, all people who attend today can ask questions, about the process, the concept, and of course the production as well. Yeah. So all sides sort of, I think for an animation production, it warrants every side to play a role, not just creative and conceptualization, but also funding and also production. Yeah. So at the end of the screening, we can discuss about these matters and sort of what is of your interest as well. Okay. So we will also discuss sort of try to get into their insights, into their innovative approach, and also the cultural inspirations behind their work, their vision for expanding consciousness by blending ancestral folklore with contemporary urban culture. Okay, so now I'll pass the mic to Hendra. He will do a little bit of an introduction of Space Boys and what they do, and also brief introduction to Kisah Bawah Tanah. Right.
Hello everyone, this is Indra. One, Black. Um, so basically, our studio will basically a live action studio. So we actually have some shots that went to Sundance. But the short that we designed is also supernatural horror. But during the pandemic, when it was not easy to do live action anymore, so we diverted our interest in our storytelling passion in animation. This is something to do at home during the lockdown. So lucky for us, this concept was taken well by the broadcasters and investors. And slowly we got funding to do one season of Kisah Bawah Tanah. I think you'll talk more about that. Okay, hi. Assalamualaikum. Selamat pagi semua. Semua okey, steady? Ada soalan, tanya, jangan malu, don't be shy. Okay. My name is Alet. Uh, me and Hendra, we know each other for a very, 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 very long time. Jim as well. Three of us came from the same school. In that college, everybody was black. So the story about Kisah Bawah Tanah happened is I think when me and Hendra we were working together, we traveled to America together. We were commissioned by the US embassy to do Korean TV show in US. And we went to America, we were like, Ayo, Americans like this, they can make cartoons, right? So it ended up, we challenged each other to say that, hey, maybe we should try to make cartoons. But in between that period of time, we used to work in, you guys know ATV, Media Prima? Yeah, so it's a free to air TV mainly for English broadcaster. So that's how me and Hendra decided to work together, open a company, and deal with it. So to talk about Kisah Bawah Tanah, it is a story set in the hantu world, right? It's a hybrid hantu that we inspired with all the hantu story from Toyol, Hantu Raya, Nangda, Jerangkong, Pocong, Zombie, Momo, Dukun. So we always thought like if you watch American cartoons, they do a lot of stuff yang macam quite gila-gila and characters are a bit out of this world. But we ourselves have a lot of folklore yang macam agak cool lah. So we decided to develop this in 2018 and we joined the MDEC near competition. And by luck, I think it's fate, our future investor was one of them. And he's right behind there, Mr. Alo from Animasia. Give him a round of applause. So
Along, Along was there from day one when he see these two silly boys trying to make a cartoon that is very short silly. Right? The audience is just me and him that time, but Along foresee us and he gave us advice. He's our mentor and now he's our partner. And yeah, this cartoon is targeted for teenagers. As we realize in Malaysia, a lot of intellectual properties are catered for kids, preschool, and Asian Ali, Bobo Boy. So we don't want to saturate that market. We always thought ourselves, why Malaysia doesn't have any like teenagers cartoon, you know, cool. Because after you watch Bobo Boy, what are you gonna watch, right? So yeah, we decided to work on this. And it's the story about Zack and Sam, two Jurangkong, working at the mart with the mart crew that will be Tok Mat, a zombie, and then his daughter, Ina, and then a Jamshi named Vincent. They will be dealing with a lot of stupid and ridiculous problem told in a very entertaining way. And yeah, we definitely think horror comedy works very well globally. And I think in Malaysia, people like that kind of genre. And yeah, this our team consists of obviously our investor, which will be Animasia Studios. They've been around here almost 20 years. And then we collaborated with an international guy. His name is Alan, and this is Alan King. Alan King worked with a couple of international projects, and we collaborated with him. We really like him, and we don't mind him to be on board just to get the beats and the story flow right. And we've of course collaborated with another sound studio company, Inner Voices. And on top of that, they produce a lot of film. And one of our consulting producer is Comet. You guys know Comet? Right. So Comet has been funding and producing a lot of new age film. Comet is lead. The boss of Comet is Ahmad Izzah Omar, who is our ex-boss. So he was the first person to hear about this idea when we were working with him. 2008. And now, since he opened a new company, he's investing in a lot of them. So they are consulting us on this. So then maybe this IP could be expanded into another universe, right? Right now it's a TV series. You never know, it might be a film. And then this is our voice talent. We got a lot of like Azman Zulkifli is one of the best VO talent in Asia. We got Papi Zach, we got Braun, and Ramona Rahman is a supporting. And yeah, that's for season one. I didn't think I told you guys the format. Right? So it's 26 for season one. It's 26 episodes, 11 minutes. And okay, so I guess let's just show you guys the episode. You guys excited to see the episode? Okay, cool. Hey, Emre, alright, so bye. Okay, so this episode is about Pontianak. It's called it's Pontianak called Salma. It's a new thing of this episode. It was developed during the pandemic, and now I think we redeveloped it with Remasia, and I think it became way better compared to what we did. So then we will talk about the process of how to make this animation, right? So now since this was done before, you could at least talk about how we got here. So we're gonna show you the episode. Can we just not stream right now? Can we stop the streaming first? What do you guys think? Clear. Hey, okay, hey. So that's yeah, that's the episode that we I think we did it in 2018 and then we redeveloped it again and then now it looks way compared to 2018 one. But yeah, with that, you know, what's it?
So this this show highlighting our season one and season episodes. We feature of this into Mantula. So now we're starting developing season two. So we will feature more Southeast Asian those so Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand. But what we saw earlier, of course, Bawah Tanah is not just about roads and horror, but it's about challenges we face every day as human beings also. You know, because the show focuses more on your uni life, your first job. Is the two characters, Sam and Zack, just now, they basically their first job is working in a mart. So this is their challenges, and this is the time where the person you work with every day is your best friend, or the person you go to class every day is your best friend. So that's at least captures that time of your life. So I can show you a scene where because the show is not only horror, it's also comedy. So this scene is more about them not having a job and needing a salary lah. Alamak, mesti kasi leka sekarang ni. I try to show so what we've been doing since we did season one. So what we be doing while we were doing season one. So of course, we will produce some merchandise, new merchandise because you can buy some outside later. So why we were confident to produce the merchandise also because our characters are not exactly new because these are all characters who all grew up knowing about Pocong, Penanggal. So when we go to Comic Festa, we go to Level Up, people are buying the merchandise already, not knowing it's an animation yet, but because they like how we interpret from these people into Malaysia. So of course we have some Reimagined merchandise also. We collaborate with some artists around Malaysia to do their interpretation of the IP. And we did a batik, Kawasan batik for the Batik Festival last year. So while we're producing season one, also we've been doing industry panels. We did one for CMB a few months ago, and because they like our fashion also, um, they took some of our apparels and used it for a CMB fashion show. Of course, we also launched a web comic series, and about a year ago, we collaborated with Unreal, Fortnite, because they wanted to show other Southeast Asian creators the 2D IP can be translated into 3D. So at first, I think they approached Agenali, Bobo Boy, but because there were so many levels of legal and there's so many levels of people to talk to get to translate the IP into Fortnite. So they came to us knowing we are upcoming series. Basically with Unreal, they just to talk to both of us only. And then we said yes, so they converted our world and our characters in the fortnight as an example to show other Southeast Asian creators that this can be done. So if you have the code, actually you can get those characters in Fortnite, but you don't have to pay for it. For social media right now, I think it's about 100,000 followers. Of course, we go to on-ground events, we have cosplayers, start promoting the IP, and then we go to trade shows. And we've been also making some use in the local media because this is the first cartoon in Malaysia. It's not targeting children, it's targeting young adults and college kids, SPCs. So I think what I'm trying to say is it's not just about making cartoons, not about making episodes, but about how we can expand the IP into other facets, other sectors of the industry, fashion, toy making, even gaming. And so just to show you a bit, our future plans for Bawah Tanah, of course, is to make a game, seasonal events, working with shopping malls to do maybe escape rooms, brand collaborations, thematic F&B, and also developing a movie with Comet and also pre-production season 2. If you see the artwork, the game concept on the left, that one we're collaborating with I'm sure you guys know this artist, don't be like that bro. So he did the artwork for our game concept. So one more thing, this wasn't planned also, but because the show is set in a mud, when the characters work in the mud, it's very legit. So there are actually a lot of artists on the show there. So right now in the show itself, there are all friends and mistakes itself. But this also gives us opportunity to collaborate with real brands out there. So we'll be speaking to some brands, maybe on some collaboration. So there's a potential. If you notice just now, our voice cast had a very prominent figure from T Life. He's our voice cast, but also he will be a future director for T Life and the IP one. So for a future example on how we do some collaboration brands. Hello semua, nama aku Tomai. Aku ada barang baik untuk hamba. Rambut hamba selalu soft, betul. Banyak urat kudu. Memperkenalkan satu terbaru di kedai aku teman. Jangan jap. Bukan yang kuasa. Yang sah selamat. Memang tak saya kau bayar tembaga. Dan tak pentingkan kata. Benar. Malaysian and Southeast Identities. Aja. And I think before we go with the Q&A with James, let's take a break. Do you want to give away that coaching platform? So yeah, coaching is our best-selling merchandise. Coaching the pocong cat. So we basically did coaching, but the new stuff is doing stuff. Okay, so I guess we just want to give up that one. We give up, like that. But I want to ask you guys a question. Whoever can raise their hand and answer it correctly, you will get that one. Question number one. Name me the name of the Pontianak. Good. You got it. You got it. Winner. You got it. You got it. So you adalah salah seorang student MMU yang mempunyai seekor kucing secara sah dan halal. Tanya, malam ni peluk lah, minta berkat. Jangan dia bangun dah. Okay. Alright, we got some more stuff, man. Like, later I ask some questions. Okay? I got some stickers and all that. Okay, James, how are we gonna move to the next one with the Q&A? Can I just drop the question, or you have something structured?
Right, so just before we open the floor, I'll ask you a few questions to begin a session. Right, so it will be addressed to both of you, anyone take it. So first question is like, what is your inspiration behind Kisah Bawah Tanah?
Okay, so inspiration of Kisah Bawah Tanah. I come from Kedah. My hometown is Sungai Petani. I used to grow up with my late grandfather. His name is Tok Mat. As you can see the guy. So he was like a father figure to me. I grew up with him, and when you grow up with orang-orang lama ni, there's a lot of horror stories they like to tell to scare the kids, right? So Tok Mat did that to me. And Tokmat told me all this ridiculous story, and Tokmat forced me to work for him at the age of uh, 8 and 9. We jual sayur kat pasar malam. So as I was growing older, I really, really missed that, because I thought, that was the best time of my life. And on top of that, I like horror film and horror stories. I used to read a lot of, if you guys know this writer named Tamar Jalis, he wrote a story called Bercakap dengan Jin. So try to find it out. It's an old book about horror folklore, about how him and his grandfather traveled to meet entities. So I was like, but the angle is too dark, it's too classic, it's too dark. I just felt like we need to upgrade this to look more current, more hip. But yeah, it's from my childhood. And obviously we kind of like mirror it to human behavior because I just feel human can be really, really scarier than ghosts. Maybe we misunderstood the ghost. You get me? You know.
Uh, so for me, the inspiration is I always like the supernatural. So from last time, because I grew up in Singapore, so I always read the True Singapore Groceries. I'm sure you see that in a popular bookstore. And I always like to watch horror movies. But I always felt growing up in Malaysia back then, there's always a gap. There's a kids cartoon, and then from when you become a teenager, you go to the Simpsons, you go to Family Guy. There's nothing made in Malaysia or in Southeast Asia for this target audience. And after that, you go to your back to your TV dramas, your movies, your police evil. So there's the gap there. So then we felt that if we can produce something to fill up that gap, there should be an audience. Yeah. So and then there's a bit of local flavor. And then we also felt like the whole world knows Count Dracula, the werewolf, the mummy. They know the weakness of Dracula. Dracula's weak to the garlic, weak to sunlight. But the whole world doesn't know about Montana, Pocong, Penanga, and their weakness. The Penanga has to go back into her body before sunrise and then she'll die. Montana has the nail. She take out the nail. Then she becomes the monster that we know. We go back the nail, she becomes normal. So how we try to interpret the show is to make sure that our folklore, our culture, can also be represented on the global stage also. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for that. So, moving on to the next question. So this is really about how you guys can take two different things and merge them. So how you really merge folklore with an urban aesthetic.
Uh, I think the simplest way to answer James' question is all these stories that we hear growing up, when we grow up, other parents or grandparents tell us, don't go out, the banana trees are pointing out there, don't do this, don't do that, a lot of pantans. So, but if you look back at it, all these stories originated from kampung. Because that's what Malaysia was back then. But now as more and more people are living in the urban environment, uh, we see how these characters would be interpreted if they stayed in modern society. So we try not to lose the essence of all this hantu-hantu. But if they were to live in today's time, in today's world and technology, how would they be? Yeah, so like I see someone is now she's a chef because one of the things about the Pontianak is they got a fragrant French Japanese smell. So we treated her as a chef in this world. But of course, when you grow the meal, she becomes a Pontianak. So it's basically, I think it's reviving the old stories that we hear, but in the modern world.
Yeah, I was right with that, man. I think the idea of taking something very, very old, conservative, and trying to modernize it is not that hard, but finding tune of creating the character, how he behaves, and how he's accepted in that world is that's how we kind of work hard with the story writers, script writers as well, right? How to make they feel and then how to make the character behave. And I think, of course, I get stimulated with visual. I'm a visual guy, comic book collector, video games, and all the same. So both of us last time when before we do anything, we have to have a visual. So we collaborated with this our character designer, his name is Kupin. So what Kupin does is he make the visual look a bit more cool rather than you get someone to draw a typical Pontianak looking creepy. He made the Pontianak look a bit naughty, And then when we look at that, I was like, okay, now I have an idea how she should talk. And then now I have an idea how to make her character arcade and how many episodes she should be in. And then I was like, hey, why don't we get Ramona Rahman? It'd be cool, right? And I'm like, no. She's her voice is all over in LRT and MRT. So yeah, that's how we hybrid it. And then true enough, from the process of designing, writing, testing out the VO, animation, and then yeah, that was a cool process. And I think people kind of understand where we're heading with this cartoon from get-go already. Because they see all the characters, oh, they look cool lah. Dia tak ada lah nampak macam terlalu, dulu that doesn't have the 90s design, right? Yeah.
Just a additional question to that. Would you aim to produce this in multiple languages? And if you translate, like this episode was in Malay, how will you translate it into English? Will you use more international English or more, say, the local dialect of English?
Right now, we're in the process of also uh, working broadcasters in Thailand, Indonesia, and North America. So, of course, some of the humor you heard just now is very localized. So, how we work with the other countries is uh, they will maintain the essence of the story, but maybe the banter and the dialogue is more catered to how the people in Indonesia will speak, how the people in Thailand will speak, and what's relevant to them. And then, of course, in North America, it's more about their culture. So I guess in North America, Sam and Zach will be more like the analysts. Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted. We're more like surfer boy, one surfer boy and one big boy. So the essence of the character won't be lot. This is how they speak, how their slang is.
James, to answer your question, our first development we did it in English. We did it in English because MDEC invested in us to do development, and that time during the pandemic, we said, okay, let's just hit hard, go far, and see whether we're gonna stumble or not, because that's the process, right? So what we did was develop in English, all the local viewers over there, and the Malaysian, right? Everyone was Malaysian, and their English is pretty good. True enough, after we did the English version, we went to NSC for film. Okay, so we fished around, blah 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 blah, and they didn't work out as what we wanted. And then Animasha came on board, and we were like, "How? We're gonna do this in English first and then Malay?" They're like, "Bro, we need to get the accent right. To get the accent right is to make it a Malaysian product with its native language, right? Then baru you dapat the DNA of each character betul, what is the niat, what it's going to be doing, and after that now we change it into English. But process of writing this was in English. because we have a story editor, which is ALET. He needs everything to be in English. So we write all the outline first in English, and then once we're happy with the outline, we make the script. Once the script is good, pass to me, and then I will edit the Malay. So every Malay accent, I know how to like edit it, because my mom was Cikgu Melayu, Cikgu Bahasa. So I think that's how the process is. It's a bit weird, but I think it's quite fulfilling for us to achieve it because now we kind of bulletproof ourselves with the English. Next one we did was we did a dubbing for Indonesia. Right? We did a dubbing for Indonesia for Indonesian market. Sounds great, and they loved it. So yeah, that's the process.
So no matter what language the show is in, the most important the soul must be Malaysian. Yeah. So
So last question for me. So just want to look at, I think, animation as a medium. So what do you see, or do you see animation's role in cultural storytelling? Do you see it as a viable medium to do that? Or are there other mediums that can do it better than animation?
for this IP, for this topic of folklore and to, of course, we felt animation was the best medium because we're only limited by our imagination. As long as you can imagine it, then we can create it. But if it's were to do it in live action, there will be limitations of budget, props, actors. So the animation is basically limited to your as unlimited as an animation is. Yeah. So I guess last time when our older generation told these stories, they told it through the medium of comics, or design or stories. But now we have the benefit of doing animation, we can tell the stories again through cartoons.
I mean, like me and Hendra studied multimedia, right? So obviously we have to stick with what we love, right? And we believe animation has always been the key. I grew up loving animation since I was a kid, and I've always wanted to make animation, and I think it's a medium to what do you call that, promote culture of our identity. It is the best because you have the canvas to draw whatever you want, and then you know it's fixed, right? It doesn't have to be like this. Serangkong has to be like this only. The Serangkong cannot ride motorbike. I know. In animation, I want to make Serangkong be a rempit. Because maybe in the previous year it was a rempit, right? So I guess that was the nice thing that we could work on animation. And do I see future in the IP being a medium? I think yes, because number one, I always like to make film, and I think we do want to see ourselves as a product of multimedia, where we want to hybrid things. And this cartoon is hybrid, right? So the next round is we could do a film where we hybrid live action 2D. You never know. That will bring us to the next round, but the moral of the story is whatever you do, the story must be compelling. People must remember it. People remember the characters, they remember the dialogue, how they behave, and yeah, that's how I think animation is very very important. And yeah, like that only. Oh, by the way, the character Ina, her name Ina because our 2D animation lecturer, the name was Ina, and we always like the gangster style of teaching us how to do 2D because she's a frame by frame animator, right? And while we were brainstorming, he said, hey, what name her? And then I was like actually, sounds like gangster. So yeah, we chose Ina. Alright, back to James, sorry, James. Right. So yeah.
Okay, just one more question for me. I think like you guys talk about the soul of Malaysia. So like, was there any method or process to, I mean, give you guys clarity on that?
Method of creating story, right? For episode B. Ah, I think understanding what is Malaysian, of course, you have to know the nuances of the people. What is the Malay nuances, right? What is Malaysian nuances, and what do people always say? I like to use words like mangkok, bodoh, tolol, because those there's nothing negative about that. Right? It's a comedy. You can say it, right? Other than that, I guess we do have the essence of the design itself, James. It's every design that we did, everything must be inspired by local. The priority is the story itself. When we start telling the story, Along, from Hendra, from Lisa, the first season has to be the story at least 75% local folklore, whatever people remember. So, for example, you have the Pontianak, then you have apa ni, apa yang RR, hantu dekat RR, dekat highway, hantu galah and all that. Everything has to be local folklore. But in between, we do have like one episode like, hey, let's make fun of Dracula. You get what I mean? So it's kind of showing that, yeah, we can hybrid ourselves with American brand, but now we are making fun of that brand. Troll lah. Me and Eva like to troll each other. So we are the troll master. But that's what collaboration is, because this cartoon won't happen just because me and him. This cartoon only happen collaboration with a lot of people that believe in this project. Yep.
All right, so now I'll open to questions on the floor. So anyone who wants to ask a question, you can come up. It's the mic to you. What inspired you with the art style? Is it you inspired by Rick and Morty, American Dad, or Family Guy or something?
The art style, 100%, I like Rick and Morty. But me and we love Macaroni. Like both of us click very well when it comes to the first 2D animated creator. We say Macaroni. Simpson and Futurama. This cartoon is kind of like hybrid of that. We met our designer through enough through Instagram back in 2017. All I did was I just Google hashtag character design Malaysia. That's it. And then I found this guy. He's from Kelantan. He doesn't study media. He studied accounting. And we met him. We had a chat. He loved the idea. Cool. But when I saw his design, I know this guy is going to be the next big thing. But I think nobody realized that. I'm like, bro, I want to copy. So that was the inspiration. And by right, the first design for the character was supposed to be one Zarko only. But after he designed it, I said, I want variation. So he created variation, and I was like, hey, actually, right, we better could be better storytelling. Because now we got two fellas solving stupid problem rather than one fella solving problem by himself, right? Because you want to see a duo, right, doing things. So yeah, that was inspiration for character. Okay, good. Okay, we got sticker for you, bro. And then anyone else question? So I saw someone raising. Yes.
My name is Amalia. This cartoon, is it going to be on TV at least, or and how would you, what do you call it, show that this is cartoon is actually meant for an older audience? Because how a lot of people have is that, oh, it's animated, thus it's for children. So how are you going to show its more mature nature?
Right now we are finishing up our 20th episode. As we mentioned just now, first season is 26 episodes, 11 minutes. Hopefully by August we know where we're going to position ourselves. So far we do have a couple of stations that are interested, right? I would say Malaysia, we got the option of Astro or Media Prima. Yet to decide. We will announce that once we know. But for Malaysia, that's the only two options. But for international, of course, everybody wants to be on Netflix, right? Because once you be on Netflix, it kind of create like what do you call that? it will be more factor for people to watch it lah internationally. We do want to see ourselves in Indonesia, in Thailand, and Philippines as well. And you asked about how our content is not really about. It's not eating. It's not targeted for eating. It's targeted for 16, 12. It's not vulgar. It's naughty. Right? There's nothing vulgar like Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty swears all the time. And I think I got sick of it. Right? You know, when you watch stuff and they think they can swear all the time, it gets boring. So I think what we did was let's be smart about censorship. Let's do double meaning stuff. Let's have the dialogue say stuff that is only the dog knows. You get me? So I guess that's how we cover line because when I used to work in television, my biggest task was not getting banned by the Lembaga Penapisan film because I got banned before. So that's when I realized, oh my God, it's so hard to deal with the Lembaga Penapisan, the censorship because they're all conservative. When we did this cartoon, I was like, the only way for us to not get censored is to make cartoon about non-human entities. Because if I make a character about human, 100% I'm gonna have problem already. Why you do this? Is he a worship? Is he worshiping devil? You know, we don't want that. Why don't we just create a ghost that is existing from our own folklore, hybrid it, make it more modern, make it more cool, and then I think the censorship board also looks at, oh, okay lah, this one I faham. They don't faham. They only see potong, ini haram, ini haram, ini haram. We don't want that lah. So I think we kind of like work on idea of let's go crazy, but then we censor as well. Right? You know, anything?
Also, when producing these episodes, we have a cultural advisor also to make sure we don't cross the lines. So we don't touch the three R's. And sometimes with folklore and religion, they are intertwined. So we have this cultural advisor to watch the episodes, read the script, and make sure we don't cross any sensitive lines. Towards the beginning of the production, uh, he was a bit skeptical, but towards the end, he actually proposed an episode himself that he wanted to watch. So he wrote one of the basic ideas for one of the episodes after that.
Okay. Anyone else? Question? You got it already? Okay. Are you back there? Yeah, I guess I think that's how we do that. Yeah. Question. How do you like the question? Yeah.
Hello. Hi, my name is Huda. I'm not an MFA student. I'm an art educator. Yeah, and I'm so excited to be here and see this amazing stuff. I also see the possibilities of how this can help with, cultural education, kan? Because I know that when it comes to the performing arts, we've got stuff like Kuda Kepang, kan, there's like Kulit Mayang and all these things that contribute. Ooh. Oh, kan? And I'm imagining like all these things where, because I also studied actually architecture, and there are certain things where in the past people want to make the rumah kampung, they have to make sure the land is clear from stuff, and there are certain tests that they can do to interact to see whether something is there or to notify that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's so much ideas, it's like expanding. Yeah? But my question is, at any point did it get too real? Too real, because these things in a way are real and like we're like in the gray zone, but like I sort of like like I don't want I'm just curious question.
I mean, when the story about too real, I got one story lah. Obviously, I think I hear a lot of stories about ghosts as I was growing elder. Me and my family pernah kena kacau once dekat Cameron Highland. But I didn't hear it. But my dad kena. And I was so shocked. And my dad is army guy, gangster, tak takut. But we left early because he was scared. Second time was me and Hendra, Japan. Out of everywhere, we kena kacau dengan Japan because I was not really a respectful person about the surrounding. I was a stupid guy. I told Hendra, we're gonna cut costs, man. I said, don't worry, I got you the best hotel. He got the cheapest four-star hotel, and it's like a joke. You walk there, you smell, you know the room is never, nobody ever stayed there. Stay there and kena kacau. I kena kacau and I thought I kena kacau alone. He also kena. Ended up, we didn't go back to the hotel. We stayed up till like 9 a.m. At Ropongi and then go back and sleep during midnight. So that's how real it was. But that inspired me want to write this series game because the funny thing about the ghost thing is how we react. Like, how to do, what to do. Kaya jangan balik hotel. Oh, bodoh kan? Instead of like, go to the hotel, we're like, hey, oh, I don't want to spend more money. Let's just go to this place, Ropongi, stay until 9 a.m. Then we sleep. Stupidest idea, but it worked. Because I don't want to be with the ghost. Yeah. Like this.
One thing in Japan that we had was our folklore. We actually had a Airbnb, a nice one, and then we saw, I think it was a 4 or 5 star hotel in the middle of the city, and then the city, we will go there for 7 days. So it was only about 2,000 ringgit for 7 days.
Yes.
Compared to the Airbnb, which is about 6,000 and further away. So we're like, we a bit belagak. We canceled the Airbnb, we said we found a good deal. Then we went to stay there, and then we realized why the room was cheap. So, but then, because our friends were there, we cannot tell them the truth. Yes, we belagak, we had a good deal. So we just coexisted with the hantu in the room.
Yes.
So we stayed there in the daytime, we went at night, the hantu, that's what they want at night, and then different kachos in the daytime.
Yeah, it's weird because how I know was you think it's a sleep paralysis. You know, sleep paralysis that felt like someone is pushing you, right? So I thought, oh god, sleep paralysis. Nah, never mind lah. Just try to move your legs, see whether it's cramp or not. All of a sudden, my tapak kaki here is left and right. That's why I'm like, what the heck is going on? And you cannot talk, right? And then the first mission was I gotta turn my head and look at Hendra. Hendra's sleeping, right? So I turned my head, he was on the other bed. This fella's face is facing the other side, so I see his backside thing. That's why I'm like, oh my god, that's so stupid. And then the hand is catching my back. And then I don't know how, but I jumped on top of it. His body, I say, you sleep, you look at me. He's like, what the heck is going on, this guy? You sleep, you look at me, bro. I say, why? You sleep, look at me, bro. It's so weird. But then after we chat, and he told me actually he doesn't kena. I'm like, oh, basically both of us don't want to tell the real issue because nanti orang macam, kau ada tu lah. Yeah, the first time he didn't believe, he thought I was crazy. Yeah, that was crap.
So the first night actually came, he left room. So I stayed in the hotel alone. And I had a VIP experience that night. So the second night, follow his plan.
But so my plan worked. It's just that you have to not be in the room lah. Okay, okay, but night is weird, really weird. Yeah, any other question? Sarah. Wow, panjang lah. Sudah 5 jam.
So from like the ideation phase until like production, how long does it take to make like one episode?
I don't know how to say this is what I'm maybe I can be realistic talking about process of development, how long it took until now, right? We went hard on this project 2018. 2018 we won the ALET competition and that took us a year. So just want to do one pilot. And that pilot was tak cukup duit, everything was like free of charge from outside. But we did engage with an animation company, di kayak awam ni, right? CCA Studios. After that, the development of the 11 minute took us another 1 year. And now for our 26th episode, I think I would say from the story script and all that, but it took 6 months, right? 6 months. So we did that 6 months. Kita settle story, script. After that, we start working on animating, storyboard, animating, and then we go to animation. So 26 episode, 11 minutes, I would say kita start October 2023. So we're gonna be finishing in August this year. Did I answer your question? Right. So you can roughly calculate lah 1 year because we don't have the luxury of doing script and then masuk animation straight. We have to market, right? So we do script or first 26 episodes, they have to present to MDAC, the milestone. And then they will go through it, they'll probably jalan. Okay. Other question? Anybody? Question? Anyone?
This will be a sensitive question now.
Oh, that's it.
How much does it cost?
It costs a lot of money. I guess I don't know how to answer about money because I'm not a money guy. But it does cost a lot of money, and that's why it's very important to get an investor, to get a partner. And I think we did the right choice of collaborating with a partner that owns the animation studio. We yeah, I don't know how to say that.
It doesn't cost as much as one season of The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's why it's a cost.
And it's a very moderate budget for Southeast Asian production.
Yeah.
Now, personally, the actual figure itself, you cannot reveal. Yeah. So,
But I can say that you with what I can say is that it costs and that helps you get to lot of operation, right? So from our side, that's how we function. And people can do animation for like one episode to like what, 30,000, 50,000, 60,000, depending on how you want it to look, right? So yeah. Million lah, tak, bukannya ribu-ribu ringgit lah, dia million lah, million ringgit lah. But I won't say how much lah. Once you get into the business, then you know. Anybody else? Question? Sorry, Abraham, ada question? Alah, Abraham pakai proxy. Yeah? Question one. You got anything else to give, Hendra? Okay, Hendra has one more. Anybody want to question? And give me the stuff. Almost done. One question. 5, 4. There you go. Done. What is this? Correct. So, hey, careful lah. Dia laju kan, jatuh ni.
My name is Ethan.
Hey,
I'm not sure this is on topic or not, but how do you handle the screenwriting for the cartoon? Like this character suits this kind of script characteristic better. So how do you handle the script for the TV scenes?
how do we handle it? I think number one, just make sure every character is very different. Like, if you got one character that's like dude, like a bro, and then another character can't be similar, right? So the problem that we used to have last time before we have writers, when me and him used to write, every character sound the same. The biggest problem with that is because me and him, like QC our own project, we don't realize it until other people see it. I'm like, actually, every character sounds the same. You need to tweak this fella. Maybe one character speak with a bassy voice, he doesn't scream. Maybe one fella is a bit enthusiastic. Maybe one fella is sturdy, takut, always scared all the time. Maybe one fella wants to be, like a megalomaniac and dogmat. I think he's the best. Even the shop is named the mark. So yeah, we based on the characters like that. I think for writing stuff, because we have a writer who writes in English first, what we do is we tango with our two writers and see what dialogue works. I am very critical about how each character present themselves with script. So of course our writer will write some stuff, and if I'm not happy, I'll just tell him, I think this one I'll switch it. This makes so much better if you see it. But yeah, it worked on our side. I think there's a process. I think it's a process. By right we need to go through English first because if not, nobody can understand the general working culture, we do have people that understand English, right? Hey, Malay. But after that, I'll just tell them how I feel about each character, and then Indra will give his book. Along we give book anyway. It's a collaboration. So two writers, one story editor, three people crafting it together. Question? Another one. Vamos start for Sian. Hi.
Yes. Actually, this is a question like for those who wanted to start their own like animation studio, or maybe like want to create their own animation stories for those who don't have like much money to do it, or you have like a talent and passion you navigate to create an animation plot to do like to streaming, like try to uh, ask for their final.
Christina. Hi. Christina, how old are you? 24. Christina, guess how old am I? Huh? 22. 32. How old, you think? 43. I'm getting there. So, Christina, what I'm trying to say is that your question is legitimate because a lot of students think that after they graduate, straight away you can do the old stuff, right? You can do that if your father is a country. You can do that if your father is a minister. You can do that if your father is connected. Any rich people wants to invest in you. But if you are like normal people like me who like mak bapak government servant, uh, I think put it in the pipeline. Don't think about finance yet, because that one's going to kill you. What you should do is right. You guys you can draw, right? You draw, right? You draw. Yes, characters first. Characters get inspired. Write a log line. Do a character sheet of everybody, and imagine yourself writing one scene of 30 seconds first. Don't do a lot. Then you look at it, you show your friends, you show anybody, because all your friends gonna start growing older as potential investors juga. You know, or maybe potential collaborator. Do not do it by yourself. Work with other people. Then you will know whether it work or not. As for investing, it's not easy. I don't think for me I can get any investor unless if I work with a broadcasting company, then I can convince investors to come in for a project. And if you're an independent company, it's a bit hard. And in fact, for us, we Spaceboy predominantly we only service customers. We do video production, concert, commercial, right? For this project, we've got some funding from MDEC. But it takes a lot of time, a really, really long time. Uh, yeah, and to give you motivation, I think now when you look at the technology has progressed now, right? AI is crazy. I've been training with AI for the past 1 month. Right? I've been doing runway. I choose runway and another one. I can't remember what. Click AI. You can get like crazy stuff for you to pitch as a pilot. Pilot means demo. So maybe you start working on your demo first. People are gonna say it suck if you do it by yourself. They're like, hey, why the voice is like this? Why the characters speak like this? Why there's no character dynamics? There's no proper beats. That's where a storyteller come in. You might have an idea, but you might not be a great, character. Sometimes people better be a producing, right? But yeah, did I answer your question? Right, I did, right? Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, another one. Okay, korang memang aku tengok ada. Boleh. Okay, you bagi lagi banyak soalan, I boleh jawab. Please cakap.
Earlier you mentioned that your plan was to expand like international for like international viewers. Do you have like a plan on how to like kind of translate any of the like comedy to like other languages, and whether or not like audiences outside of Malaysia will understand like the sort like all the gags and stories and stuff.
Like earlier you mentioned, working on the putting show in Thailand and Indonesia. So that will be up to the producers there on how they translate the dialogue and the IP to their to language is relevant to them. So the storyline will remain the same. There's a lot of banter in the episodes now when you're talking to each other. So maybe that will be more the slang, the language used is more fitting to the how the youth there in your country speak. Uh, so this one I think we will oversee the dubbing and the production. But they themselves, the writers there will do the translation of their side.
Yeah, so that's how we do it, right? But sometimes when we write, we kind of like think of the elements of how to make sure that we do some work on the language. For example, you want to have an Indonesian character. Okay, you tell that.
You mentioned earlier about an MDEC. So you mentioned earlier about that this show got pitched into like an MDEC competition. So how exactly does one submit like a project that they want for MDEC to pick up?
Simple. Go to the website, check on the deck. I don't know whether they still have like PCC. It was called IPCC during our time. Right now it's called PCF. Dice. It's called Dice. Check on Dice. What will happen is that I think few months before the submission, you need to work on logline, synopsis, character design, environment design, and then maybe you can have like a 1-2 page of the script so they understand. And then you will be eligible to join competition where most probably I think about 10 good companies will be competing. Then you have to go to a process of I think about 6 weeks with your mentor. 6 or 8 weeks with your mentor. You every month you go once a month. You think down with them the idea where we at. That's why Along gave it to us because Along was our mentor. So Along QC because Along really like this project. He QC on top of that. He gave us guidance. Go to his office and he will tell us how to work on the first pilot. The first pilot that we did was 7 minutes. 7 minutes. But originally we supposed to do 3 minutes saja. Because everyone challenges us from Nizam Raza and Along like, can you do a narrative storytelling? By right, we should just do a promo, right? Or scene by scene what happened, right? But then they challenge us to do a narrative storytelling. We have a pilot, like almost a pilot, and me and him will be like, yo, really? Then we lesson learn of what need to be done. Because it's just two of us, like we work with vision. I obviously have to do most of the voice, started by Janet, and then Hendra do thing, compositing, script also both of us did it. You want to see it? Yes. Kelakar bodoh. Okay. Okay, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Inilah. Okay, this one gets you. Alright, this one, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, is the Kisah Bawah Tanah version 1. Version 2018. Amen.
Lagi rela cuci tampak. Nadamu tak apalah nanti otak aku kurang ambil. Zaki, mas ni kerja aku nak makan dulu tadi.
Yelah.
You see the characters all the same, right? No. Oh, nothing. Yeah, you can see right how it is, but for two guys with a limited budget, 50,000 ringgit. Yeah, I think we survived lah. Not because we won the competition. We thought we would not win. And I think when they were about to announce, everybody said, "Hey, good luck, all the best next time." Bro, you're not going even alone say to us. Alone came to us and the bro, I know what do, but you guys cannot win this next year. And I was heartbroken and I looked at him and I was like, I don't think we can try again this year, bro. This is it. Sekali we won. And that's when we realized, okay lah, although we do like short, steady direction, the time it still work. Then after that, and then say, why don't you develop the show? Because it does. It was so base, you need a lot of development. The characters sound the same, everyone looks the same, right? And the worst part was it was a sausage fest. We didn't realize that because we were so shocked sendiri until we went to Korea for film animation market. Right? No, kids film. We went to Korea, we showed that, and people from BBC, Disney, and a lot of broadcasters wanted to have one-on-one meeting with us. The first thing they said that sausage fest. Yeah, you're right. Sausage fest. No, you're right. They, how come we never realized it's a sausage fest? Because we were so in the bubble, right? So that's why I was telling you. Go pitch to everybody, let them see it, and they will give you a honest comment, and you realize, oh. So we had a tunnel vision at that time. We really tunnel vision because we were like, yeah, this is it. But then after being slapped in the face by the real players, Nickelodeon and all that, we were like, oh, you're right, man. That's when Ina comes in. We were like, we need someone gangster, a bit more like not a girly girl. We need someone who's like the boss. Like, yeah, we create the boss doctor. Hey. Okay. Anything else? Anyone else? James, what do you think? Later aku buat kelas aku.
All right. So I think we've come to the end of today. So I'd like to thank Mr. ALET, Arzuan, Mr. Hendra Wardi here, come today taking the time to present their work and their methods and how their experiences. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and also learned a lot from this experience. So if you want to keep in touch with them, you can. You can just speak to them personally through the class. And yeah, and I want to thank everyone for attending today. So thank you so much. Should we get applause for our presenters and also for yourself? Huh? Oh yeah, I need to do this for our presenters. Yeah, so they have submerged prepared outside. So you're also helping them to sort of fine tune sort of what sort of products that relate to people who can watch the show. Yeah. So that's sort of another side of the animation that's part of the whole industry. So you guys can check it out. see which one you like, give your feedback if you don't like it or whatnot. No, they'll be looking for this sort of things. Yeah. So okay, so thank you for today. Then yeah, I will end it now, and I will also do a little briefing with you guys before we leave. Okay. So just want to ask, is there any questions about the final assignment?